LEGO's design fundamentals are some of the strictest in the world, with LEGO design principles being harsher than that of certain aircraft manufacturers. But how much has LEGO changed since the release of their first ever set, all the way back in 1954? So from the LEGO Garage, all the way up to the most recent Lord of the Rings Barad-dûr, this is how LEGO has evolved over time. And let's start with the first set LEGO ever released, the LEGO Garage. LEGO during its first couple of sets were far less focused on the mainline media and instead wanted to give kids the ability to build things that they could find around them. This is where the LEGO Garage came in, a tiny set only consisting of 69 pieces, with most of them just being white building blocks. I mean, it didn't even have a car. However, this set was the first official LEGO set and started the company off with a bang. It caused the company to start moving away from the toys they had been manufacturing and instead focusing all their energy into these building blocks. However, the reason this set did not come with a car is because at the time, LEGO was manufacturing toy cars similar to Hot Wheels. LEGO was actually intended to be an addition for the toy cars they were releasing. However, LEGO began to see that their building block products were actually becoming much more popular than their toy cars. However, the LEGO executives were reluctant to entirely move away at this point. Following this garage set, we begin to get things like the Esso gas station, the small store, and house. And then in 1957, LEGO had their first ever licensed set. The VW Auto Showroom is what began it all. LEGO had been approached by Volkswagen after the success of their plastic toy cars. Although no longer the focus of LEGO, they were still producing some plastic toy cars, and so VW approached them with an opportunity to combine both the toy cars as well as their LEGO to make a powerful partnership between VW and LEGO. This set began the licensing trend for LEGO, which is something they now try to do with most of their sets, and from here, LEGO would turn their focus towards making vehicle sets with LEGO, planes, trains, cars, gears, and wheels. Wait, wheels? Wheels were arguably the biggest thing LEGO ever made, with them technically being the largest tire manufacturer in the world in 1962. Although their tires were not for actual cars, LEGO were doing it all and were making so much money in the process. By 1958, LEGO had patented the brick design that we all know today, and as such, they began to focus more of their effort into LEGO as they transitioned away from the wooden toys. And LEGO got one big final push in the end, when one of their warehouses was struck by a devastating fire that removed almost all of their remaining wooden toys. Yeah, I mean, that's almost as devastating as you not subscribing. Psst, this is the part where you subscribe. With their inventory destroyed, Godthred, the CEO of LEGO, decided that the plastic line of toys was now strong enough to abandon their wooden toy line. While LEGO expanded throughout Europe, they were still struggling to breach their way into North America, and so they made an arrangement with an American suitcase manufacturer, Samsonite, in order to get their products in the States. And LEGO wanted to continue their focus on kids. On June 7th, 1968, LEGO opened their first ever Legoland Park in Billund, Denmark. The park had elaborate LEGO builds of miniature towns and attracted 625,000 visitors in its opening year, which was impressive for a theme park in Europe. Yet another innovation came in 1969 when LEGO introduced their infant line of products, Duplo. They really had something for everyone at this point, and going into the 70s, they were going to blow up massively. LEGO actually hit its golden age in the 70s and 80s. In 1973, when its logo changing to what we know today, and their fundamentals evolved alongside with them massively. LEGO stock skyrocketed, but they were also making better sets for the fans of LEGO, with them rapidly growing a cult following. Then along came a man known as Kurt Christensen, who revolutionized LEGO, introducing a new design fundamental known as the system within a system. System within a system is largely the reason LEGO is still so big nowadays. The system within a system fundamental essentially caused play themes, with LEGO focusing on different topics such as their iconic space theme, which became an overnight success, all thanks to the success of the space race. The space theme was a combination of 3 sets, each of them being a huge overhaul and step up above anything LEGO had ever made up to this point. And it all began with the Space Cruiser, a huge modernization of the iconic toy cars that made LEGO popular. But the main thing that came out of this set that made it even more iconic was a certain little yellow minifigure, the Spaceman. Designed by Jens Knudsen, the LEGO minifigure was first appeared in the castle, space, and town sets. The idea behind the minifigure was to have the character that could fit into any LEGO set, and so Jens made sure that the torso's legs and arms were interchangeable with other LEGO minifigures. As these were all separate pieces, the LEGO company needed to put a blank face on each of them that would fit into any theme. And so they went for 2 solid black eyes and a smile painted in black. LEGO had actually done this to avoid any gender or racial components, allowing those factors to be determined by the child's imagination and play. In 1975, LEGO introduced their Expert Builder series. LEGO sets that were tailored directly to adults. However, in 1977, they would change this to Technic. LEGO sets featuring moving parts such as gears, axles, levers, and joints, allowing LEGO sets to be far more realistic models of cars, planes, trucks, and anything else, all in an attempt to appeal to an older demographic. And all of these design changes and fundamentals continue to evolve and change even into the 80s. Eldorado Fortress, King's Castle, and so on. Countless sets from Deep Space to the 7 Seas that just kept building and innovating on each other. Much like a LEGO set keeps building up until you finally finish. But unfortunately, LEGO was approaching 50 years old, and they had the same designers throughout the entire history. Things were about to go terribly. The 90s was a horrendous decade for LEGO. They continued to expand on their existing themes, but also began to expand their licensing deals with different companies. By the 1990s, LEGO were actually creating more and more Technic sets, and these were also becoming very popular. However, LEGO's profits were declining. The LEGO group had retired a lot of designers that made the brand so popular, and were trying to bring in the new innovators to the scene straight out of design colleagues. However, these new faces did not know enough about design, let alone LEGO design fundamentals and such. LEGO were forced to change their design direction. LEGO began to focus on sets with less building time and more playability, and this was becoming immensely problematic for the existing fan base of LEGO who felt the construction was the best part of LEGO. By 1998, LEGO had their first ever yearly loss, losing $23 million, while also laying off 1,000 employees to try and survive the immense financial loss. The change in the design team is largely to blame for this, as the quality of LEGO began to dwindle. Things had to change in 1999. LEGO products began to feature licensed intellectual property for the first time. This essentially means that LEGO were now making and producing sets that were not designed in-house. Things like LEGO Star Wars and Winnie the Pooh Duplo were the first sets to come along like this. In 2000, LEGO also began to make LEGO Harry Potter and minifigures from Steven Spielberg movies. The first ever LEGO Star Wars set, Model 7140, an X-Wing fighter, began the LEGO Star Wars line, while LEGO Harry Potter began with Model 4701, the Sorting Hat. Also at this time, when LEGO introduced a huge design philosophy that is arguably the most famous LEGO principle ever made. Toy guns were heavily debated in the LEGO Concept Lab. Soren Holm, the leader of this lab, said that by the time they released LEGO Star Wars, the company was far less afraid of showing conflict. However, Mr. Larson, the North American executive of LEGO, suggested making violence not explicit, but humoristic. And all of these changes were helping the company stay afloat. Licensed properties provided short-term relief for LEGO. However, these sets, while popular, had a very short shelf life as sales would dwindle following the opening weeks of these blockbuster IPs. And on top of this, LEGO also had to pay for the license fees for all of these products. And while LEGO hype was at an all-time low, it was genuinely a horrible time for work at LEGO, as the company was really struggling to stay afloat. They made some changes between 2002 and 2005, introducing characters that were based on real people, such as Lando Calrissian, the first ever licensed character, as well as the basketball sets, which included real players at the time. It also marketed the first time LEGO ever changed the skin color of their characters to match the character they were a likeness of. But things only got worse for LEGO, as in 2004, LEGO lost $174 million, with Executive Vice President of LEGO, Mads Nipper, claiming that LEGO almost had to go bankrupt. For 20 years, LEGO had made horrendous financial decisions, things like Legoland being a huge financial strain, as well as license for product costing loads. LEGO could not do it all, and so things had to change. Kurt Christensen re-signed as CEO and appointed Jurgen Nutstrop. Yeah, I definitely butchered that name. Anyways, as the company's first ever CEO that did not come from the founding family, the company sold their 4 Legoland parks to Merlin Entertainments, and all manufacturing was returned to LEGO, as at this point 80% of it was outsourced. And from 2005 onwards, things would actually change drastically for LEGO. The company focused on its core product line and reintroduced Duplo in late 2004. They then moved manufacturing to Mexico and distribution to the Czech Republic. By 2007, they had reduced their staff from 9,100 to 4,200 due to outsourcing, and the company began to recover. LEGO Star Wars increased sales in the US by 32% and globally sales increased by 20%. And LEGO began to recover immensely financially. Sets were coming out left and right, as well as Sinner, and LEGO began to restore faith in their fan base. And the 2010s would revolutionize LEGO, cementing its place for the future. In 2011, LEGO released Ninjago. Yeah, I know you guys know about that one. The first ever fully LEGO licensed set. It was a theme set like LEGO Star Wars, however they owned the intellectual property, meaning they could make all design decisions. In 2013, LEGO built factories in China to reduce manufacturing costs further. However, the company knew that in order to make money, they would have to spend money, and so they began developing the biggest PR stunt they would ever pull, the LEGO Movie. The LEGO Movie actually brought old fans back to LEGO and introduced new fans into the world of LEGO as well. It is also at the time that LEGO began to create sets directed at adults, with the LEGO Creator Set soon to become the LEGO Icon sets, which brought back the system within a system design fundamental. Sets were becoming harder to build, and LEGO were growing up with their fan base, while also making sets that appeal to younger kids too. And now, we are in 2024. With some of the most iconic sets behind us, LEGO now seems to focus on making big buildings, such as this LEGO Titanic, Lord of the Rings Barad-dûr, and much more. No one knows where LEGO's going to end up in the future, however their building journey is far from done, and so is ours. So in order to help us keep building our journey, you should like this video and click this one right here. Also, you should comment what you learned from this video.